colleagues in Egypt, and then I wanted to kind of connect it to the...
Because like Egypt is like cornered from the global north to keep on working with these bad companies. Like you are living right in front of a big factory, so by default you're going to be either working in that factory or impacted by the whole lifestyle this factory is like imposing on the community, and like low quality imported like fossils in general. And we saw that across the years, from respiratory impacts, cancers, and the like bad nutrition and bad health in general, like kids, women, and men in the neighborhood, like right next to all the factories that are relying on fossils. Titan from Egypt.
They went to try to get some interviews.
We have bad quality fossils that impacts our lives. We are struggling to mitigate, and when we want to do something, we are either faced by, well, there's no finance or like no good transfer of technology, because if you want that technology, you have to pay for it.
The exported emissions.
Oh yeah.
And then this example came up. I don't know how it came up. Anyway.
To turn away from it. And the US has decreased its emissions at home, and currently that full lens is not there. In the Paris Agreement, the rules are set in it. Whenever you burn it, you have significant health impacts, particularly around plants. In the Paris Agreement, the rules are set in a way that you actually only look at the domestic emissions and not at the fossil fuel exports.
How long are you here?
I'm here until Wednesday, so we are in the climate action tracker looking at the NDCs that are coming out. And the US has decreased its emissions at home, but has increased its fossil fuel exports. And both together don't really make sense. We have to transition away from fossil fuels, so you have to do both. Reduce your own emissions and reduce your fossil fuel exports.
I mean, now I would be curious to see how Egypt is looking at those sectors.
For a long time, we thought it's almost impossible to get to produce steel and cement without coal. But we now know it is possible. So for steel, we already have operating plants that use hydrogen from renewables. That works well. For cement, it's a bit more complicated, but also there is ways to do this. In particular, the cheapest option to reduce emissions from cement is to use less cement and do it in different ways. That already helps a lot in reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and that's the first thing that the countries should do. We need to develop new technologies that can do the same thing without coal. But there's other areas which are much more difficult to decarbonize, like cement, like steel. And these are the opportunities where I think the international climate finance can make the biggest difference, because these are the emission reduction opportunities that the countries themselves cannot take because they're simply too expensive, and their international climate finance can help significantly to make the transition in these areas. Also, we're looking at assessing them basically. We did our global update. Yeah, Egypt doesn't have a new NDC yet, so that's a good question what they will do. For a new NDC, which should have a stronger 2030 target, a strong 2035